Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Chris Talks. This is a segment on One Man Show podcast. It's going to be on scramt.v. I do everything for One Man Show podcast and Scram podcast because, it's fun. And sometimes it's hard to find people. So we are with film director Seth Magana. What's up, Seth? What's going on?
How's it going, man? How's it going? Thanks for having me on here.
Yeah, for sure. So let's start off with your Instagram handle. At Mr. underscore big underscore shot underscore fancy underscore pants. How did you come up with that?
I have a big ego, man.
Right. We're gonna stroke it tonight.
Yes, I like being big shot fancy pants. Anywhere.
Oh, that's cool. How old are you?
I'm 19.
19. Dear Lord. When Jason he showed me the film and he mentioned you were 19, I was like, holy crap, this guy's got some skill. It wasn't no handheld recording. This thing, it looked legit. Everyone check out Mr. Big Shot Fancy Pants, Seth Magana on Instagram. He's got some demo reels, a couple pictures of behind the scenes. I was looking through that today. And where did you grow up, man?
So I grew up in Castroville, so it's not too far out of San Antonio. It's like 20 minutes west of San Antonio. Now I live up in Austin, so.
Oh, cool. Yeah. My friend John Carlos, he does commercials, and he mentioned that a lot of the like commercial stuff and film stuff is in Austin, like the
it's a big market
agencies and all that good stuff. So that's perfect. You're a walk or drive away from, I guess, some of the buildings that are in.
It's a very active community up here. It's pretty cool.
Cool. So I guess we'll start off from the beginning. How did you get into film?
Oh man, bro, what's it called? I've loved movies forever. So I've always watched movies. That was always my thing. All my friends who did athletics and whatnot and all that stuff. I would hang out with them and all that stuff, but my thing was that I always liked watching movies. The one that got me hooked on everything was Jurassic Park, but it's still my favorite movie of all time.
Awesome. Yeah, my girlfriend loves that movie.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. So that got me hooked. I wanted to be a paleontologist for forever, and then I realized I like the movie more than I like the dinosaurs. So I just wanted to make movies after that. So
awesome.
Kind of got me into it.
Cool. Yeah, I didn't do sports at all either. I was more of a theater kid.
Yeah.
I always did plays and whatnot. So, I like this kind of stuff. Learning about films, acting, and directing, like all that. Like I'm more interested in that than throwing a football or getting a Powerade thrown over my head. All right, so Jurassic Park, that's a great movie. So your recent I'm just going down my list. What skills or classes on here I like to we talk to people that actually do this type of stuff, like I had the comedians on. What skills or classes did you take or learn to describe to be able to make short films or any type of film? Like, what was kind of like your journey learning to get to where you are today?
So in high school, I went to an art school. I went to Multi School of the Arts, and around year 3, I realized it was not for me. Year 3 is already just balls deep into it.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, it's not for me. So I ended up dropping out and just kind of focusing on film outside of school. I realized it's a much more suitable environment for me that way.
Okay.
If I just learn hands-on, the best ways, the ways I learned the most was doing a couple of short films back in high school, outside of school, just my friends, my camera, me, and watching movies. Those are the 2 best places, best schools I guess, that you can take in learning how to make film. That's how I learned, and it just kind of snowballed into where I'm at today and hopefully where I'm going to be soon.
Yeah, man, you got your whole life ahead of you, bro. It's going to be exciting what you make in 10 years. I can already tell, dude. Dang, everyone definitely go check out Seth. How do you say your last name?
Magana.
Seth Magana stuff. I've been saying it wrong the past.
That's all good.
Past couple of days.
Everyone does.
Oh, that's cool, man. Yeah. So if you don't like art school, definitely. I mean, you're gonna have to get dirty. You're gonna have to figure it out. You know, it's people think that stuff's going to be handed to you, especially like in the art world. Like you got to have skill, you got to learn those skills. Sometimes the best way to go is to just get out there and start learning on your own. So that's
Yeah,
cool. That's
yeah.
very cool. What is Almost Sue Productions?
That is my own production company. Uh,
Cool.
or not production company, my own little handle, if you will. What's it called
Okay.
for the film I do? So that's because my middle name is Bailey, and back
Okay.
in school, I was like, I always got like not bullied, but all of my friends picked on my middle name. It's like
Yeah.
Bailey, whatever. They still
This
make
guy
fun of
likes alcoholic coffee.
yeah, yeah. And they still make fun of me from it. But I asked my dad, I was like, "Yo, what the heck? Why Bailey?" And he's like, "Yo, we could have named you Sue off that Johnny Cash song." So I was like, "All right, it'd be cool. It's almost Sue Productions." So just
That's funny, man. Wow. Yeah, I was thinking about it. It's like, is it like they're almost someone's gonna sue me, or is it like noting? But wow, that's a cool story. Awesome. So, your own production handle. Um, what kind of team do you have on these projects? Like, is it people you know, like friends, or is it like connections you have?
So it's a bit of both. At this point, it's gotten to where my connections have become my friends.
Okay, awesome.
Um, and I was kind of like finding my footing with who my crew is going to be, like who are the people I'm going to stick with. And every time I do a film,
Yeah.
no matter who, it's always going to be, they're always going to have like different people on board here and there, like filling different jobs. But I have found my key players, and these last two films that I have done, last three films really, um, where like if you saw the last two films I did, last three, I have pretty much the same roundabout actors,
Yeah.
DPs, camera guys. I like to use those guys because we know how to work together. We see eye to
Yeah.
eye, and if I say something, they know exactly what I'm talking about. And I mean, like like that way, we already have a vocabulary on how we're
Yeah.
going to work together. But on the flip side, I like working with different people. I like
Mhm.
kind of seeing how they like to work about things, and it gives me new ideas or new frame of thought on how to shoot a scene or how to or write a script or something like that. So
Awesome. Yeah, we had Jason actually submit a question. Is how do you find awesome actors? Yeah. How did you find such awesome actors? Was one of his questions.
what
Um,
is
what's
yeah.
Jason like on set?
Jason's the bomb, man. I love Jason. Jason's stupid good. Uh, like he's man, that guy's because he jokes around that he says he can fit up that he's always in the bad guy roles,
Yeah.
but he's good. He's versatile, man. I love working with him. And I was joking around with him last week on like a different set, not my film, but one of my friends' films, that we need to put him in a happy role because he's always out
Yeah.
there murdering kids, presidents, or just looking like a real like real downtrodden. I'm like, yeah, we need to put you in a happy role, man. So he's awesome. I love working with that guy. It's awesome having a comedian on set, or someone who has that background,
Mhm.
because it gives it a different vibe when he's doing a serious role. It gives
Mhm.
it almost like another layer.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
like for say when we are doing Big Red, White and Blue, he's involved in the Kennedy assassination.
Hmm.
But it also, like when the cameras are off, he's a very funny guy. He's
Yeah.
making the entire set laugh. So he always adds to the sets.
A little break from the seriousness, I guess, if
Yeah,
you
I like
will.
it.
Alrighty. Yeah, we're trucking along. What would you say is the hardest part of filmmaking? It could be light, sound. What is something that you always
It's the
have to
pre-production.
tinker with? What's up?
Pre-production. That's
Pre-production.
it's always hell, or at least I make it feel like it's hell. Uh, so that involves because right now, for the most part, no, right now really, if I want to set up a film, it's there's no investors, there's no
Mm,
real producers on set. I have one friend who does help produce,
yeah,
but for the most part, it's always coming out of my own pocket, and
gotcha.
it's my own schedule and my own whatever, and I have to roll with it. I have to make sure that I have an entire crew of 20 people who are all available on one day. I have to make
Hmm.
sure that the location's cool with having 20 people there. I got to make sure that we have it all day. I got to make sure that we have our props, we have this, we have that, we have this, and it really is. It's hellish to set that all together because it's so like mind-numbingly stressful, but I do have a good couple of friends like David Carbajal and my friend Jafet Velasquez who would take the load off of that. One of them as my AD and the other one as my producer. So that always helps. And luckily, the more that we go about it, I'm finding more people who are interested in helping me out by either producing or offering resources that I wouldn't have otherwise.
Cool. Okay, so it's like one big puzzle trying to figure out
Yeah,
until you get to that day
yeah,
of shooting.
logistics, and then once we get on set, it's cake from there.
Awesome. That's cool. Alrighty. So you mentioned pre-production. How long do you prepare before you start filming? How long is that pre-production process like? Does it take
So for
weeks?
example, the smoothest film that we've ever gone down for was the Big Red, White, and Blue. Um, Me and my buddy, the main actor in that film, David Carbajal,
Mhm.
we were going back and forth. We wanted to do a JFK, somewhat like a JFK based idea, something that revolved around his assassination. And we went from making it about like news reporters to Secret Service guys, and then I wanted to do a film about the bad guys. I wanted to do about the assassins, the guys who set up the assassination, right? So I started writing the script, and from the time I wrote it to the time we had a finished product, it was like probably a month. It was such a short
Wow.
span of time, because it was a very simple idea. It I wrote it in a week. We shot it like 3 weeks after that, and we had a finished cut by a week. So that was the
Oh,
smoothest. But the toughest one was the western that Jason was
yeah.
on.
Yeah. I saw that one. That was dope.
Appreciate it. That one was insanely tough to set up. In fact, that one almost took like 4 or 5 months to plan.
Oh
Uh,
wow.
and it's funny because it's not even not that it's not worth it, but it was the finished product was is a little rough around the edges. But the thing was, we were shooting in West Texas, like
Mhm.
way the hell out west, like 9 hours,
Oh wow.
and we found this perfect location. It was like a rumble down church that was like from the 1800s. There's nothing but desert around, but we had a big crew going. We had a big camera. We had big lights. We are staying over the weekend. We had to plan. I had to plan all this stuff out, and it was taking a big chunk out of my energy. And it was very hellish to plan. But once we did get on set, like I feel like it all paid off because we had an
Mhm.
insanely smooth going set. We estimated that we were gonna have 2 days of shooting, but we managed to finish up in one.
Wow.
So like I mean like pre-production is the toughest part to me. Other filmmakers can say it's production or
Mhm.
post-production, but to me the planning process is always stressful. So
Okay. Okay. Cool. So that's something people got to look out for and make sure they plan if they're trying to make their own film.
yeah.
We already went over your team. Um, so what kind of films are you inspired to make? Like what are the films
Oh,
you're drawn to that you want to make? Like
I
whether it be style or genre.
Yeah, ask Jason because like he knows this perfectly. I'm a big genre filmmaker.
Mhm.
Um, so say I'm doing a film like the JFK one,
Yeah.
where I can't just say it's a JFK movie. I have to have a certain genre that I'm going to be making it in.
Mhm.
So I wanted to make it a noir film. So I started studying noirs like crazy. I watched everything from the 40s all the way up to like the mid 60s, and then I started like going into the history of noir. I'm very adamant about that. When I do a film, I need to study what genre I'm
Mhm.
doing, because I want to make sure I'm doing it right. Because
Okay.
it's like that thing, write what you know. It's the same thing with like directing. It's like
Mhm.
direct what you know, and I know a lot about movies. That's my strength. I can I can watch a western and I can tell you like the year, like
Mhm.
almost like the year frame that it was made, um, and why it was made. This is and that. Um,
Cool.
so like I have to have a very specific like point of reference when I'm making these films. Um, what is it? For instance, if I wanted to do a musical, which I want to do a musical down the line,
That'd be cool.
there's so many different kinds of musicals. There's like the grounded, realistic ones like Once, or there's like
Hmm.
MGM big, grand, theatrical ones like Singing in the Rain. There's a wide spectrum, and I have to find like that point of reference on like which ones I'm trying to make. So, like that's what I try to do. I try to make genre films.
Cool. I saw a couple music videos on your Instagram. Did you play a part in that?
Yeah, I directed those.
Okay. Okay. So cool. So like, if you have a musical, you already know where it's going.
Yeah, I used to love directing music videos, man. I used to do it for like some side money,
Uh-huh.
but at the same time, I just do them for fun because they're a lot of fun to do. Because if you're doing a music video, it just gives you like uh, an unlimited kind of amount of creativity that you can just
Mhm.
throw in there. Because it's a music video, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
For
Awesome.
one, I shot it completely in reverse, and then reverse that footage, so
That was
everything
cool.
looks
The
like
cigarette was like
yeah,
lagging like
yeah.
backwards. That was tight. Yeah.
Uh,
Wow.
and then another one, we had like this like 10-year-old kid lip syncing the song. So I looked like this like 10-year-old, and then I put it in editing. It looks like this 10-year-old's like rapping with this like 40-year-old man voice. It's like I think it's like I don't know. I just like doing crazy things like that.
Ooh, yeah. That's awesome. All right. Uh what are some of the directors you get influenced by the most?
Um, it always like flip flops here and there, but um, I have like an insane love for Sergio Leone, the Dollars
Okay.
trilogy, like Good, the Bad, the Ugly, for a fistful of dollars, for a few dollars more. But mainly Once Upon a Time in the West. I love that movie. It's one of my all-time favorites. William Friedkin, the guy who did Exorcist and Sorcerer and all those movies.
Awesome.
But my number one guy who, like, man, if you're my friend or if anyone knows me, like, they'll never hear me not talk about this guy because I'm talking about him constantly. He's like, I watched another one of his movies last night, Sam Peckinpah. That
Okay.
guy is my absolute hero. He directed The Wild Bunch, Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid, The Getaway, and he is like one of the most prolific filmmakers in my opinion. He's on my Mount Rushmore for sure. Um,
Okay.
and he, like, I would admit he's not a perfect filmmaker. A lot of his movies are rougher around the edges. They're not they're either not the best acted, the best shot, or the best whatever, but they're so unique. I think they're so they're so different compared to all the things that are being made back then. Even now, I think they still stand out. This guy would not pull punches, man. That's what I love about him. His movies are so balls to the wall, like testosterone fueled, and
Uh-huh.
it's tough to watch. A lot of his movies, like you can like say, even it's from the '60s, that they look tame, but like
Mm.
his movies are really rough. Like they showed and did some things that were like really rowdy. Like The Wild Bunch is one of the most violent westerns ever made. Um, and I think it's awesome because you couldn't make a movie like that today without having people go up in arms about
Yeah.
having either I don't know. It's just it's not he's not the most politically correct filmmaker
Okay.
at all, but I think it's really cool to have a strong voice like that.
Yeah.
So he's one of my biggest inspirations. I strive to be a filmmaker like that guy.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah, I wrote down his name and I gotta watch Billy the Kid.
Yeah, no, that movie is great. You should watch that one. Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia is the best movie. If you watch one for him, like that's the one you ought to watch. It is a
Alfredo
fantastic.
Garcia.
Yes.
Cool. All right, man. Top 5 movies.
Top five movies. Oh man, don't do that to me.
Or do you want to wait and hold off on that?
Yeah. Well, the number one, like I said, it's always going to be Jurassic Park. That movie's
Okay.
too damn near dear to my heart, man. Like that whole music and shit. That's gonna be my wedding song. I bet. Like my wife has no say. Like, that's gonna be it. Number two is Bring Me the Head, Alfredo Garcia.
Go back and make one big video.
Okay, yeah, no worries for sure.
But I put it only live for me. So hopefully now we'll get some other questions or whatnot.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Well, I'll edit that later.
It's all good, man. Good.
All right. Let's keep going. So the first one was Jurassic Park. Number two. No, wait, no. Yeah, first top
Yeah.
five for Jurassic Park.
Then it
Then
was
it was
Alfredo Garcia.
Alfredo Garcia. And 3 more.
Yeah. So okay, so third one would be Once Upon a Time in the West. That Sergio Leone movie. That one is such a big inspiration for pretty much any project I do. I always try to pull something from that one. Leone is like such a master. Like I think that movie hits perfection. That is like the only film I think is like an actual perfect movie. I think it is shot so beautifully and acted so well. The score is absolutely beautiful. It looks like a painting. That movie looks like a. Oh, nope, sorry about that.
It's okay.
Dang, how do I get back? Sorry about that.
It's okay.
Yeah, that movie is like an absolute painting in my eye. I don't think there's any imperfection about that movie whatsoever. So that's a big one for me. That's a very big one. The next two I always flip flop. Those are always my three cemented ones that never change. But the other two, like man, that's a rough one. Right now it's Sorcerer. I dig Sorcerer quite a bit. That's a William Friedkin
What year
one.
did that come out?
That was 76, I think.
Okay,
And
I have to
that's
watch that.
yeah, it's an awesome premise. So it follows like these like criminals. It's Roy Schneider, the guy from Jaws. So it's these criminals who all go to like some South American country, and they're all hired to do a job where they have to drive these really like janky trucks across the desert, but they're loaded with dynamite, like old dynamite. And if they hit a bump too hard, it all blows up. So they have to
Wow.
drive real carefully, and they're going through like rain and bridges and rebels and stuff like. It's such an insanely tense movie. I love it. It's such a gross, dirty, violent movie. It's amazing. It's
Hell
amazing.
yeah.
That movie's it's like one of his unsung movies. And the fifth one, damn, that's a tough one. I wish you said four. It was my top four. Damn, what would it be right now? I would say, Chinatown. There you go.
Big Trouble.
No, not that one.
Just
That
right
one's
there.
great. That one's great too. That one's like six. Chinatown with Jack Nicholson and
Okay.
Faye Dunaway. It's a
Cool.
noir film from the 70s. And that's the noir film that got me hooked on noirs essentially.
Awesome.
That was my gateway drug into that whole genre.
Yeah, cool. You're saying a bunch of movies I've never heard of. So yeah, this is gonna be awesome diving into
Dude,
those
watch
whenever I get
each,
a chance.
each one of those movies is awesome. I'd say like the most rock and roll one there is either Alfredo Garcia or Sorcerer. Those are some pretty good party movies right there, man.
Cool. All right. Yeah, we got the top five. So do you hang out with other filmmakers? Is it like you got meet up at a Starbucks, or is it like just is it are filmmakers more of like a loner type deal? What do you
So
what's your
I don't
take on
know,
that?
man. I don't think filmmakers, I don't think directors can be loners. You
Mm-hmm.
know, this whole job requires you to be like a people person.
Okay.
You got to be able to, because I mean, no one's like so director. Like you're essentially like captain of the ship.
Yeah.
So you got to make sure everyone not necessarily likes you, but
Yeah.
is enough on board with you to go through with this big old project that you're doing.
All right.
So I wouldn't say that they're loners. A lot of them are, but they're the, but they're just to themselves.
Yeah.
But I would say I have two of my best friends are filmmakers, and they're
Awesome.
always my right hand guys on these projects. Um, but aside from that, to be honest, man, I get tired of hanging out with filmmakers
Yeah.
so often because I'm like, yo, I need a break from talking about this stuff. I was like, I'm gonna go talk to some about some other things. So
Yeah.
I have two separate groups. I'm like, I got my filmmaker friends, and I got the boys essentially.
Awesome. Cool. So how can the people help support your next project? Do you have any like a PayPal or
Oh
what's the
man,
best way to support you to make your next project?
I'd say just by watching them right now, watching them would be a big boost. So right now, the ones that are available are Bye Bye Miss American Pie,
Mhm.
Hell to Pay, and The Big Red, White, and Blue. I have one more short film that's on its way out, Fatale.
Yeah.
And but as we're speaking, in fact, right before you called, I'm hammering out my first feature script,
Wow.
which, God willing, by mid next year, I'll have a feature under my belt.
Oh,
Uh,
sick. Cool.
so
Cool.
that's a whole combination of noir, western, a little bit of drama. That's mine. It's a big genre film about saving the movie theater essentially. So that's my next big project.
Awesome.
Once I have the script done, I am going to be setting up a GoFundMe.
Heck yeah,
So
for sure.
maybe you can do another one of these, and I can
Yeah, man.
push it out some.
Whenever
Uh,
you'd like, I'd love to have you back on.
yeah, for sure. Um, but that those are the ways that I could really put my name out there, and that would be a big help.
Okay. Yeah, make sure you send me the links to everything because
Oh no, for sure, for sure.
that it's just easier for people if they watch it, they can go check
Yeah,
out your stuff and
yeah.
cool. Yeah. Awesome. All right. So yeah, I think that was all the filmmakers questions. Let's talk about the big red, white, and blue.
All right.
So that's a film. That's the first film I saw from you. And what was it like filming this?
It
Like,
was awesome, man. It
yeah.
was a blast. Um, we like I said, we wanted to do a noir film and a JFK something. So I was like,
Mhm.
all right. So I had to sit down and kind of like figure out the best way to do it. And really, if you watch any of those films, those out of the five ones I told you, they're all about bad
Mhm.
people.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of movies about bad people. I think they're more interesting than like the heroes of movies.
Yeah.
I like watching the villains. So I thought it'd be interesting to see it from the point of view of the guys who orchestrated the assassination. So I was like, all right, let's make these guys just really terrible people, but put
Mhm.
them in a human situation. Um, and that was essentially how I rolled with it. I just started typing out like I'm like, all right, what's some cool dialogue on on my phone? I have nothing but like cool pieces of dialogue that I think sound cool in my head. So I
I
started
have
like,
my favorite one. I'll ask it in a bit.
so I started typing them out. I'm like, all right, that sounds cool. That sounds cool. Put a cigarette in there. That's cool too.
Yeah.
Um, so that was essentially how it went down. I was like, essentially, I didn't want to make anything serious really,
Mhm.
because to me, it's still a genre movie. It's not a
Yeah.
serious movie. I'm still having fun with the noir genre, even though it is about like the Kennedy
Mhm.
assassination. I wanted it to be something there to go see at the movie theater type of thing. So that was the idea of it. That was, and my buddy quickly hopped on board, and I sent it to Jason, and he quickly hopped on board. He auditioned for it, he killed it, and then from there, since it was just two actors in a room, it was a very easy thing to set up.
Yeah.
We rented a fancy hotel room. They did not like that we were shooting there, but we managed managed to get away with it. And we shot, and it was insane. We were scheduled to shoot from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. and we finished at 3 p.m. It was the
Wow.
fastest shoot we've ever done in my life, man. It was insane.
Um, yeah, I was gonna say, is that a prop gun? And did you need permits? And were they mad about you smoking in the building? Like, what kind of things do you have to do to like dance around all that?
So what we did was I rented out. This was like in March, not March, May. So this is still like during the pandemic going on, and there's a hotel, the Hampton, no, not Hampton, Hilton Embassy. It's a
Mhm.
real fancy joint. It's big old place, and it was dead empty. There's no one in there except for the register lady, and I wanted to go talk to her, and I asked if we could rent a room, and she's like, yeah, and um, and she's like, yeah, for sure. And I was like, well, if I rent the room, I'm gonna let her do whatever I want in there. And she's like, I mean, technically, technically, it's like your room. It's like your privacy. You can do whatever you want. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna take that as a go ahead.
Yeah.
I made sure it was a smoking room. They still have smoking rooms there.
Okay, cool.
So that's what got us free. But I called the regional manager because I was like, it would really suck to get canceled on the day of. And the regional manager was like, yo, no, it's not a good idea. We'd rather you not do this. And I was like, damn, that sucks. But
Mhm.
I was still thinking, I'm like, if there's no one there, I'm like, we might be able to get away with it. So we ended up going to shoot anyways. And it was crazy because we're walking up the elevator and we have our lights, our cameras, our boomsticks, our actors, all this stuff. And it was like the one day that the regional manager was there. I was like, damn.
Wow.
I was like, we're about to get shut down like before we even started filming. And he's like, yeah, just don't make a mess, please, or something like that.
Yeah.
But like I rented out the room the night before, so I'd go stay there, and the crew would get there the next morning. And that night before, I went in and I set decorated the whole area. I put all my props into cases so it looked like luggage. So I had like a little TV set, some plants, like a radio, a
um,
pistol. And I'm like, yo, they would not be happy with any of
Yeah,
this stuff.
if they just found that, they'd be like, "What the heck is this guy doing?"
Yeah, I was like, yo, they're gonna be horrified if they walk in. But we managed to. We had a great day. It was an insanely well oiled machine. We had a nice lunch break. Everyone there was like they're really interested and down to be there on set. It was a very good what is it, like, well humored crew. So
Okay. Um, for those of you watching right now, we are with film director Seth Magana, and our whole first half was only private. So now you guys are finally get. I'll edit this later, and we'll put that in the front. We got some good stuff. We got some awesome behind the scenes stuff that you're talking about right now. This is great. We're gonna go over my favorite line from the Red, White, and Blue. You can watch it on his Instagram, in his bio link. You're fucked 9 ways till Sunday. How did you come up with that?
oh, I typed that in my phone one day. It's, man, literally, like, when I'm writing a script, I have like a fishbowl of cool words that
I like it.
I'll start pulling. I'm like, all right, that sounds like a cool combination of words. um, but yeah, like, the more like I was reading a lot of noir books that take place in that era, and I was like, oh, I want to have like lingo that would be said back then, to make it seem like a Humphrey Bogart type of movie,
Yeah, for
like
sure.
one that he would make if he lived to the 60s. Um, that was the idea, and having dialogue like that, or the other line, "We just killed a king." I was like, that stuff to me, like, it just makes it more dramatic. It makes it more interesting to watch, because like if you watch it, it's just two guys talking in a room. There's not a lot of action except for like one part where they slightly get physical.
Yeah.
So I was like, I have to make sure that the dialogue is almost action, in a way, because like, how can I keep your attention if it's just words? I got to make sure that it's interesting words.
Wow, that's cool. That's a good tip right there. Awesome. I was gonna say, I said, do you ever get nervous before like a shoot, or is it all just like you feel comfortable? So I get nervous when I'm like on stage or whatever doing my thing,
Yeah.
or so is it like for directors? Do you guys get nervous? Like,
Oh, we'll get nervous. That's what pre-production's for, is getting nervous.
Okay, to work out all the jitters.
Yeah, and then once you're on set, like, what's it called? Any night before a shoot, like, you probably won't sleep. But once you do like land, like, once like you start rolling the cameras, you either fall into it, or you have to pretend that you're falling into it, because it's that whole leader thing. Like, you're captain of the ship, so you got to make sure that everyone who's like on board, like, they trust the captain. You know what I mean? Like, if the captain doesn't seem like, if the captain's sweating, like I'd be worried. If I saw the pilot of a plane, like, kind of scratching his head, I'm like, not a lot of trust. So you have to either be fully confident or pretend that you're fully confident in yourself.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? Just to get everyone on board and just to be trucking along. And that one, since it was like a pretty, like, because I trusted everyone who was there and I trusted my actors. Not that I was confident, but it was very easygoing. So if everyone's having a good time, like, you're gonna get a better product, I think. So.
Awesome. I wanted to talk about creating tension, and I saw you had like a variety of shots. Do you use, like, people draw like their shots before? Do you use any of that, like storyboard, I guess?
Sometimes I do. A lot of people, so it's like, it depends on who you talk to, like how they do it. A lot of people would be very dedicated to sticking to their shots. I kind of like to just jump on set and put the camera anywhere and everywhere.
Cool.
Like, I make like my DP, the guy I work with, he does not like how I do that. My director of photography.
And DP, that stands for double pen. No, I'm just kidding. It stands for it stands for director of photography, right?
Yes.
Okay.
He's like my cameraman, my cinematographer guy. I'll type out a rough shot list. This is how I wanted to play out in my head, and I'll show it to him. And that's standard practice now. I type it out, I show it to him, he'll shit a chicken and get mad at me, but I'll say, don't even worry about it. Let's just roll with it. And we'll get on set and we'll pretty much just kind of like, I'm like, you know what? It'd be cool if cameras right here. It'd be cool if cameras right there. Let's try like a really Dutch angle from low to the ground, like really high up. Let's try an insane close up or whatever. Because I feel like if you're on set and you're really feeling it, like those moments will work on screen. So that's how I kind of like to work about it. Sometimes I will do storyboards depending on what the film is. If I'm doing like a shootout, like a Western shootout, I'm not gonna storyboard that. I'm just gonna jump on set and put the camera anywhere and everywhere. And then in editing, I'm just gonna start chopping anything that looks like it works together. But if I'm doing a more intimate scene or a more conversational piece, I guess, I will kind of put more of a plan into it because those parts have to be more orchestrated to me.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think one of the longest shots is where Jason's in front of the mirror. He's washing his face. He's talking to the guy, and he's there for like a good, probably a minute. Do you like doing shorter scenes, or I mean, shorter shots or longer shots, or?
It depends. I'll fit whatever like style works for the film. For this whole short film, it's all based on tension because I don't have the budget to do a shootout or an action scene. So I'm like, all right, I got to make it tense. That's the only other option I have. And if you hold on to a shot, it's almost like watching a horror film. Like if you're watching a scary movie and they hold on to a shot, like you know something's gonna pop out.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, it's almost like that. If I hold on to the shot, someone's gonna say something that's gonna be a gut punch, a big kick in the dick sort of way. And he does. He ends up saying, he's like, yo, he's like, JFK got shot, but Lee Harvey Oswald escaped. And that's the proverbial jump scare of the part, because that throws a monkey wrench and fucks up the entire operation, I guess. And then from there on, like we kind of do the over shoulder thing, and then at the end, once we get onto the to the twist, I guess, we go back to those long shots, like holding on just to keep it more tense, like almost sweat inducing kind of way.
Awesome. Wow. Do you think period pieces are challenging, or do you think it's just a whole, like finding the right prop, or is it more of like not really saying, hey, this is the 60s or 70s? What's your take on that?
I don't like doing the like, look at this, it's 1960, whatever. I'd rather just kind of like put you in the scene and like you'll figure it, not necessarily that you'll figure it out, but you're in the scene and you understand, like, oh, I'm not in the present, I'm back in whenever.
Okay.
I like period pieces. I don't think I'd ever do a modern day film unless I really have to. I think period pieces are just way more interesting. Like the 1960s or 50s, like aesthetically they look a lot more interesting than like today. You know what I mean? Like you have the cooler cars, you have the buildings, the architecture look different.
All the clothes,
the wardrobe look different. Everyone smokes cigarettes. I think that's a big thing. I love cigarettes in films so much. I think it tells a lot about characters, and you don't see that as much today.
That's true.
Smoking like rates gone down or whatever. Well, back in the 60s, everyone was like, they had like 5 cigarettes in their mouth at a time. This looks, it looks so, yeah. Like their lifespan was they'll die at like 40, but
live fast, right?
Yeah, but it looks great on film. For some reason, smoking looks great on screen, and I think that's it's more viable seeing that in like a film that takes place in 1960 than it does in 2020.
Cool. So. Alrighty, man. I watched Fatale. I really enjoyed it. I think that the actors did a really great job.
Thank you.
There's I don't want to say a lot about it. I know it's not,
I'm cool talking about that one because I'm gonna be putting that one out shortly.
Okay. What do you want to say about that one? I think Jason did a great job. I sent him a text saying like, dude, that was badass. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I can't wait for people to see it. So
Jason can kill anything, man. So like a brief synopsis or elevator.
They're smoking in it.
Yeah, they're smoking. They are smoking. It takes place in Hollywood, 1949, and it's all about this. It's about a hooker
Hmm.
who aims to be an actress, and her father who kind of almost he hunts her down. He's trying to bring her back home because he knows that she's a hooker, and he's doing anything and everything in his power to bring her back home. And in the end, he's the victim of the story, because this whole idea is to make my own femme fatale.
Hmm.
And I don't know if you're familiar with that whole trope, but it's a big thing in film noir. Is you have like the sexy actress who brings your main character into the trouble. So that's like your Faye Dunaway in Chinatown, or your Rita Hayworth back in the day. They always play the really attractive girl who kind of reels in the main character and drags him through hell, and just like she's the cause of all of the problems essentially. Sometimes she's a good guy and sometimes she's a bad guy. And I think it's really, like I said, I think it's more interesting when these characters are bad people. So that was the whole idea of her. I wanted to make my own Rita Hayworth. So
Awesome, man. Yeah, I can't wait for people to see it. Oh, it's gonna be sick.
thank you. I'm
Seth,
excited.
thanks for being on here, man. I haven't really been putting any content out. I've been just like lazy playing video games. So this is a cool this is a cool project to just help me fire up my creative engine, I guess.
Yeah. No,
So
man,
yeah,
it was a blast being on here. So it's always cool talking about movies, man. I'll do it with anyone and everyone. So
awesome. Yeah, and I like learning about movies too. Like, do you spend a lot of time in editing, or is it like do you have a whole like control over that, or do you trust people to edit a movie,
oh,
or
God, no.
no?
I won't lie. That's not, I will not lie. That's my thing.
Okay.
Because an editor has like too much power over how the thing's gonna look. So I'm like, it's got to be me. I'm like, I have to cut this myself.
Awesome, cool. Yeah, and
No
like
other way.
it's cool because you see your work, but this is great because people are going to be able to know more about you, your process, and just your passion. And yeah, I can't wait for people to see Fatale and whatever you got going next. Thanks a lot, man. I'm going to share the heck out of this, so
Oh
this is gonna
man,
be
I
fun.
appreciate it. Thanks for having me on, man. Thank you.
Alrighty. You want? I have rapid fire questions, but I don't know. I
Oh
think
yeah.
this is
I
good
mean,
enough.
I'm
If
good with whatever, bro. So
you want to do, okay.
I know where to go.
Let me
So
flip my notebook. All right. Shoe size.
yeah, 8.5.
Day person or evening person?
Day person.
Favorite cereal?
Damn. That's harder than the movie questions.
Oh,
Cocoa Pebbles.
that's a good one. Pokemon or Digimon or Yu-Gi-Oh?
Neither. I've never seen or played any of those.
Oh yeah, I forgot. You're a young guy. Introvert or extrovert?
Extrovert.
Okay. Dog or cat?
Dogs, man. Dogs all the way.
City or the country?
Country.
Country. A truck or a car?
Truck.
Favorite food?
Oh, tacos.
All
Any
right.
kinds of tacos. Put a tortilla around it and I'll eat it.
All right, man. Yeah, I think that's gonna do it, buddy.
Cool. Cool,
All
man.
right,
Thank
man.
you.
Appreciate you. I appreciate your time. Make sure to send me those links.
Yes, sir.
And thanks for letting me watch Fatale before a lot of other people. I think
Yeah,
that's
no,
pretty
for
cool.
sure, man. For
It
sure.
made me feel special. So,
You are special, man.
all right, brother. Take care. Thank
Hey,
you.
have a good one. Bye.